And welcome inside Moral Gymnasium on the campus of Bowdoin College here in Brunswick, Maine. It's the NESCAC opener for the 2-2 Bowdoin College Polar Bears as they welcome the Wesleyan University Cardinals, winners of their first three, to open up the 2021 season. Welcome back to volleyball here in the NESCAC with producer and camera operator Elias Page. My name is Brian Roach. Thank you for tuning in. Well, a rematch of the 2019, of course, no season last year, the 2019 NESCAC semis, where the Polar Bears, after falling to Wesleyan twice, 3-0 in the regular season, they were able to topple Wesleyan and head to the finals in a 3-2 thriller. Of course, the Polar Bears ended up falling to Tufts in that championship game. And before we get started here today, we'll quickly go through the starters. Plenty more to bring you on the background of both the teams as we go on, but we're just about ready to begin. For Wesleyan in numerical order will be Grace Dennis, Jenna Oteola, Maddie Kirk, Mariko Tanaka, Brenna Puslak, Bella Ahern, and Sydney Smith for Coach Ben Samara in his 7th season. Him Stinson, the assistant. Wesleyan will serve first in the Roadblocks. For the Polar Bears, it's Corey Gray, Sophia Paul, Sarah Evans, Ella Haugen, Jada Hodge-Adams, Laura Ainge, and Maya White for the Polar Bears in the home whites. The libero is Maya White. She is wearing the black uniform. For Wesleyan, the libero is Jenna Oteola in the white uniform. First point to the Cardinals here in set number 1. And the Polar Bears will force it there. That's Jada Hodge-Adams. Off the fingertips on the attempted block. And she'll get the kill. Avenging the attack error. That's White on the serve. Cardinals with the dig to keep it going, but now the Polar Bears. They'll push it over and just out of the reach of Maddie Kirk. And Bowdoin now up 2-1. White will try to get a run going here. Second consecutive serve. Received by Oteola. Set up nicely in front. Polar Bears got the fingers up for the block. Pushed on over. In close. And the libero White coming through there. Sashayed up into the air by Kirk. Set right back for her. Pushed. And that one falls. Point Wesleyan. We're tied at 2. Wesleyan coming off a 3-0 victory versus Western Connecticut State. It was a Friday, the 10th doubleheader victory, as they also took down RIT by the same score. Polar Bears answer quickly. Corey Gray. Out front, found the space, spikes it home. Hodge-Adams now, and that one's gonna creep over. Jada Hodge-Adams, placing that perfectly off the top of the net. She'll go again. Oteola, the set now, the spike, and answering there is Maddie Kirk, the senior from El Segundo, California. So Jenna Oteola, the San Diego native. What an effort there by Ella Haugen to keep that going. White sends it over on the free ball. The spike, and with authority, Mariko Tanaka. What a first 3 matches of the season she's had. Coming into today, 27 kills, hitting at a 339 clip, 5 block assists, 6 digs. Oteola, once again, 4-4 in our first set. And that falls for the Polar Bears. Wesleyan had the right idea with Kirk and Tanaka out front, but a unfortunate break there as it fell on the Cardinal side. Evans is off. Jenna Robbins is in, the junior. (5-4) Bowdoin advantage in this first set. Oh, tapping at her. Somehow the Polar Bears keep that up. That was Sophia Paul on the dig. denying Kirk, and this one's going to fall for the kill. Wesleyan gets it eventually. Tied up at 5 here in set number 1. Bella Ahern gets the kill from Grace Dennis. Bianca Ortiz into the match. She got the serve, but finishing the job there, Ella Haugen. Check that, it was Haugen on the set. And Gray on the kill. And there is Corey Gray, named to the MIT Invitational Tournament team. Polar Bears went 1-2 last weekend in Cambridge. Another point for the Cardinals. That was Tanaka. Dennis with the set. Here's Kirk on the serve. On the left side, Polar Bears can't quite get the kill. Set, blocked down. Wesleyan will have to reset. Gets a couple fingertips. Nice effort there by Hodge Adams to keep it alive. On the free ball, pushed over, and then blocked down. Grace Dennis and Mariko Tanaka out in front. 7-6 Wesleyan advantage in our first set. Kirk once more. That was Robbins keeping it up. And getting the kill, and Sophia Paul just keeping it in play. 7-7, we're moving quick. Ella Haugen. And they'll give her the ace. Or it looked initially. Nope, they will reverse that. It will be an error on the serve and a Wesleyan point. And checking back in is Brynner Kuslak. Here is Tanaka. And an error to even things up on the serve. Wesleyan, as we mentioned, fell in the semifinals, but one position better in the also competitive NESCAC standings in 2019. Wesleyan second, Bowdoin third. A kiss the net was received by Smith. Polar Bears go to work. Trying to spike it home. It deflects right back there for Evans. And this one looks like it will be an error. Yep, fault against Bowdoin, 9-8. For Wesleyan, is the error will go on Evans. Grace Dennis, the junior, from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. Nice effort there by White, pushed over. Oteola kept it alive. Blocked down, Wesleyan though. With a quick reaction time, and they'll have to do it again. And this one won't go over through Smith. To the delight of the Polar Bear faithful. Nice crowd in attendance. One of my favorite things about Morrill Gymnasium, this place gets loud. Won't get loud for the Polar Bears there as an error on the serve. It was Maya White. 10-9 Wesleyan here in our first set. Trying to finish that off on the slide, Corey Gray, and it eventually will go for the Polar Bears. Looked like that was Kirk and Oteola trying to keep it alive. And an ace. Look what I found for Jada Hodge Adams. 11-10. Now we'll go right back to the Cardinals. And as we said quickly in the opener, Wesleyan in regular season play Last season out in 2019 got the best of the Polar Bears, making quick work. 3-0 straight set match. Another point for the Cardinals there. But in that semifinal matchup, they went down to the wire, 3-2. And it's shaping up here in the rematch. Like another tight one here. And that's going to fall right in front of Maya White. Tried to dig it out. Just missing it there. And I believe this is the largest lead we've had so far this evening, 13-11 for Wesleyan. Oteola is Hodge Adams. Receives it and driven home there, Sarah Evans. Precision placement. And she'll be spelled by Jenna Robbins. Robbins on the serve. Received by Kirk on one leg. Or one knee, I should say. Pushed on over on the free ball by Haugen. That's going to fall in. Haugen. She wanted to go for it, but lets it fall out of play over the line. We're back at 13. And we're back even at 13s. Here's Robbins. A little too much on that one. Sabella Ahern off. Bianca Ortiz back on. She too also, along with Kiana Ewell and Jody Levitt, capable of playing libero. And over a couple fingertips, Corey Gray's got another one. On that end, as part of her honor being named to the MIT Invitational All-Tourney team against Endicott, she had 12 kills, 4 aces, 6 digs to Corey Gray. Set there trying to power through is Kirk. And that one will fall in the favor of the Polar Bears. It was Sophia Paul. To put Bowdoin back on top. It got a piece of a Cardinal. Out in front, and set up nicely for Tanaka. It looked like they were going to go left side. Tanaka right side in close, tries it home. Grace Bell now off, as it's Tanaka's serve for the Cardinals. And double hit. Advantage Polar Bears. And that was a tricky one. It looked like both Dennis on the Cardinals side and couldn't quite catch who was up front for the Polar Bears, but it looked like they thought the ball was taking a little different trajectory. Either way, Polar Bears will take the point. And they'll take another one. A little too much on this strike from Kirk. 17-15 in the first set. And we have a timeout called by the Cardinals. We are moving here in our first set. So let's take a look at the team statistics. Scorable points, 14-10 advantage for the Polar Bears over Wesleyan. Again, our score is 17-15. 11 kills for the Polar Bears, 7 for Wesleyan. 3 attack errors for the Polar Bears, 2 for Wesleyan. Polar Bears with 26 total attacks, hitting 308. Wesleyan with 21, hitting 238. Polar Bears have 11 assists. Wesleyan with 7 so far. 2 aces on the Bowdoin side, 1 on the Wesleyan side. 4 errors already off the serve for the Polar Bears, 1 on the Wesleyan side. 1 block solo apiece, 2 block assists for the Cardinals. Give them 2 total blocks. 12 digs aside. Only 2 reception errors so far for Wesleyan, 1 for Bowdoin. Corey Gray leads Bowdoin with 4 kills. Paul and Haugen each have 2. Tanaka with 3 on the Wesleyan side. Kirk and Ahern with 2 as well. So on at the timeout, Ella Haugen will get us started. The outside hitter on the serve. Powerful swing from Sidney Smith. The Polar Bears, though, able to manage. And on the slide, it doesn't work out for Tanaka. 18-15, largest lead. Either side has had so far. And Cardinals right back to work. That's going to block down. Nice effort there by Grace Dennis. Tanaka also out in front. 16 now on the Wesleyan side of the scoreboard. They trail by 2 in this first set. Kiana Yule is in. Tanaka out. The first year, Yule. Oh, what a finish by Ella Haugen. She had all of us fooled. Pushes it over, finds the free space. Evans will spell Robbins on the Bowdoin side. Here's Paul on the serve. Clean reception, but they can't get the set right as Grace Dennis is just out of her area. 2016. And that one off of Bowdoin. Set of fingertips and out of play. I think that was Cheetah Hodge Adams who was deflected off of. 17 serving 20. And that's going to sneak on over and stay in play. Lauren Lang. Ella Haugen with the helper. And the assist. Maya White now on the serve. 21-17. Advantage Polar Bears. And it looked like Smith had the Polar Bears done in for their second opportunity. It'll be Dennis driving it home. Bell on the serve. In close, deflects right back. But out of play. 22-18 Polar Bears. It's Erin Cady in her 7th season. Former NSCAC Coach of the Year. Taylor Stevens, the assistant for the Polar Bears. And getting a piece of a Cardinal there, it's Corey Gray again. 23-18. Haugen gets the assist. Hodge Adams on the serve, and it's an ace. Jada Hodge Adams has another one. Set point for the Polar Bears. Right side deflects right back. That stays in play. Cardinals still alive here in this first set. Couple subs here. One of them being Tanaka, as she spells Kiana Yule. Still set point for the Polar Bears. Serve for Oteola. Locked down, and the Cardinals won't go down in this first set without a fight. They brought it back within 4. Give it to Maddie Kirk. Jenna O'Taylor with the helper. She's back on the serve. And that's going to do it. That will just stay in play for Corey Gray. Polar Bears take the first set. 25-20. Well, that's any indication, that first set, of what type of match we'll get here tonight. Should be an entertaining one here for you, and a close one. So take a look at the stats after our first set. 16 kills for the Polar Bears, 10 for Wesleyan. Polar Bears hit at 314. Wesleyan hit at 233. Corey Gray for the Polar Bears. Will stick with the individual stats for the Polar Bears for a moment. Corey Gray, 7 kills. Emma Haugen with 3. Or Ella Haugen. Paul ends up with 2. Hodge Adams, 2 of her own. Evans with 1. Lane with 1. And Gray hitting a remarkable, cool 1,000. After that, first set. 7 total attacks, 7 kills for the senior. 12 assists for Ella Haugen. 3 assists for Jada Hodge Adams. Block assists for both Paul and Lang. 4 digs for Hodge Adams and White. 7 points for Corey Gray. Hodge Adams with 6. Kirk and Tanaka with 3 kills to lead the Cardinals. Ahern and Smith each with 2. Tanaka and Ahern each hit 400. After that set, 7 assists for Grace Dennis to lead the Cardinals. Dennis, Ahern, and Smith each with a block solo. Dennis and Tanaka with a block assist each. 4 digs for Oteola, 3 for Dennis, 2 for Bell, 2 for Kirk. Tanaka, Ahern, and Ortiz each with 1. 3.5 points for Tanaka to lead Wesleyan. So one thing of note, too, of course, with the protocols in place, we will not be switching sides tonight. Polar Bears stick to the left, Cardinals on the right. And set number 2, just about set to get going. For the Polar Bears, 3 of their 4 matches so far this year, 2-2 on the year. Came at the MIT Invitational, they went 1-2. They lost their last time out, 3-0 versus MIT. Their 1 win came against Keene State, 3-1. They lost 3-1 against Endicott. Their second win came at USM back on Tuesday the 7th, 3-0. Set 2 underway. The Polar Bears had the honors first. Oh, and that just stays in there from Lauren Lang. She gets the opening kill of our second set. Polar Bears lead 1-0. Ella Haugen with the assist. Haugen on the serve. Nice effort there by Oteola to receive it. Left side doesn't sneak over, and despite Oteola's best efforts, Haugen gets the kill. Check that. Sophia Paul with the kill. Haugen with the assist. 2 and 5. They look similar on close glance. And And that one blocked down. Jada Hodge Adams, one of the polar bears out in front. Oh, check that. My apologies. That's going to kick back onto the Wesleyan side. And they will get the point. Kill goes to Bella Ahern. Trying to dink it over there was Lang. This one won't make it over the net. 3-1 Bowdoin. Maddie Kirk will take the error there. Now Sophia Paul on the serve. And that one's going to fall as the Cardinals were set to receive. Stacked on the right side, Polar Bears able to take advantage of the space on the left. Here's Paul. And just a little too much on that one for the Cardinals. Because they were trying to pull a little trickeration out of their bag there. So after the ace, an error for the Cardinals and another ace for the Polar Bears. Sophia Paul, her second of this run of serves. Haugen dug that out. Reversed over by Hodge Adams. And the Cardinals bank it off a Polar Bear and out of play. They get another point on the board. 2 serving 6. Bell will come in for Tanaka. Tanaka on the serve. And charging in from behind is Lang. She'll get the kill. 7-2. Haugen with another helper. And we might get still early in our second set, but may have jinxed things by saying we'll see the back and forth type of set that we saw in our first set, but jinxing the jinxes myself as Wesleyan gets the point. This is why we don't make assumptions in fast-paced games. White with the error. A little too much on that one for the Polar Bears. It'll be 4 serving 7 and a little bit of a run going here. It's Ortiz. The error was on Hodge Adams. And Ortiz with a perfectly placed ace. Dropping it right in the left corner. 5 serving 7. And it's another ace. Bianca Ortiz. Back to back. Cardinals 7-6. Or excuse me, 6-7. Blocked right back. Cardinals got to reset. Again blocked back. Quick reaction time by the Polar Bears. Hodge Adams doing work out in front for the Polar Bears. Oh, what a dig there by Paul. And that will drop home for Bowdoin. That's got the gym going. It's Sarah Evans from Ella Haugen. We saw the Polar Bears have to extend on the dig a couple times, and we saw some lightning quick reaction time from the Cardinals. In that rally. Oh, and not getting the piece of it that she wanted was Kirk. Advantage Polar Bears 9-6. 3 aces in the first set. And that one just falls over. Polar Bears, though, able to react quickly. And just like that, Otelo was too. Driving it home is Corey Gray. 10 serving 6, advantage Polar Bears. Error on the serve. Right back to Wesleyan. Maddie Kirk will take her turn. Left side, hits it. Out. So point Wesleyan. Haugen on the ball handling error. That gets a piece of the blockers out in front. Loading up with Smith. Polar Bears able to counter and drive it home. Corey Gray, she's got another. Haugen with another assist. Racking up the stats. Are the duo of 1 and 5 in white. Nice job to receive that by Kirk. That one out, though, and the Polar Bears stretch the lead to 4 here in set 2. They lead the match 1-0. And a timeout here on the court. And we'll catch our breaths here. Fast-paced action. So the Polar Bears, if you're just tuning in, took the first set 25-20. Corey Gray, a perfect 7 for 7. Hitting 100%. And we'll take a look at the updated details. As Gray is 9 for 9. Team stats as it stands. 30 total points for Bowdoin, 19 for Wesleyan. And those are scoring points, not the score here on the scoreboard. 22 kills for the Polar Bears, 12 for Wesleyan. 6 Bowdoin errors, 7 on the Wesleyan side. Polar Bears hitting 348 on 46 total attacks. Wesleyan at 116 on 43. 22 assists for Bowdoin, 12 for Wesleyan, 6 aces for the Polar Bears, 3 for the Cardinals. 2 total blocks for Bowdoin, 4 for Wesleyan. And we're back at it with the Polar Bears in control. It's Jenna Robbins. Kirk with the reception. Sent on over on the free ball. Polar Bears now out in front. And Corey Gray, a perfect 10 for 10. 13-8. Jenna Robbins once more. On the spike. Sydney Smith. And now will fall for Wesleyan. The bump a little off target, intended for Gray, and she couldn't quite settle it back in play. 9 serving 13, Jenna Oteola. The quick break in the action is a wet spot on the court. Taylor gets us going again. And wasting no time, Bowdoin will get the advantage back. Floating in from over the back line. Sophia Paul. Paul will get the kill. And actually, I think that might have been Lane who floated over. Either way, kill for Paul, point for the Polar Bears, 14 serving 9. It's Gray on the serve. Gray extends to keep that in play. And it looked like that was an intended free ball, but Paul gets a kill. Hodge Adams with the helper. From the left side, doesn't go over. Don't give it home. That's Lauren Lang. 16-9. It will be an attack error on Sydney Smith. But Lang with the last touch. Wesleyan gets one back. They're in double digits here in set 2. 10 serving 16. The libero and Maya White is back in, spelling Corey Gray. As the Cardinals get the serve off. That was Lopansry the first year. Hodge Adams. Precision. Just outside of Lopansry's reach. Ella Haugen on the serve. 17-10 advantage Polar Bears. Set up right side and Hodge Adams. She'll get the kill. It's Kirk trying to keep the play alive. In a wet spot on the Wesleyan side, so we'll take a breath for a moment here. NESCAC opener for both of these squads as well as the league. During our next step break, we'll try to take a look at the league scoreboard for you. Received by Otala. And a collision there. 2 Cardinals come together. And Lopansry and Smith point Polar Bears. 19 serving 10. Ella Haugen. And a point for the Cardinals. Error on the serve. Kiana Ewell checks back in. Polar Bears stacked to the left, right up front exposed. Doesn't quite matter though, as they'll push it right over. Sophia Paul. And back and forth we go. Well received there by White. And point Polar Bears. (20-11). It's from our angle. It looked like it initially went out on Bowdoin. Bad set is the call against Ahern. That was Paul on the serve. Reception error there. As Gould trying to bring it in. 21-11. And my apologies, that won't be an error. That will be a kill for Sarah Evans. That's an error on the serve for the Polar Bears. And right back to Wesleyan. 12-21 Cardinals serve. Back to the last Polar Bear kill. Evans, helper from White. Received initially by Evans. Now the Cardinals, as Paul keeps that in play. Responding there is Bell. Back and forth we go. Nearly done total. What an effort there by Lang. Off the fingertips, Polar Bears keep it alive. Punching it all over on the slide is Hodge Adams, but Wesleyan won't relent yet. Driving it home from the left side, Sarah Evans. Haugen with another helper. 22-12 advantage Bowdoin. Oh, would not want to have been in the way of that. Britta Kuslak in close, loads up, spikes it home. Lopensry with the helper. Polar Bears were a little forced out in front this time. Trying to swat it over there was Kuslak. And off a Cardinal point, Polar Bears. And not only a point, it's a set point, 24-13. Hodge Adams, who had 3 aces in the first set, on the serve. And right on cue, 25-13, Polar Bears take set 2. They lead the match 2-0. You kind of feel that one coming. From number 15 in white, the junior. From Tarzana, California, in the Harvard Westlake School. So set 1 to Bowdoin, 25-20. Set 2 to Bowdoin, 25-13. As the Polar Bears hit better than their opponents in that second set. Points in total, 40 on the Bowdoin side, 22 for Wesleyan. 29 kills for the Polar Bears after 2 sets, 15 for Wesleyan. 9 errors for Wesleyan on the attack, 6 for Bowdoin. 59 total attacks, hitting at a 390 clip for the Polar Bears. 58 total attacks, Wesleyan hitting at a 103 clip. 29 assists for Bowdoin, 15 for Wesleyan, 7 aces for the Polar Bears, 3 for Wesleyan. 8 errors on the serve for Bowdoin, 1 for Wesleyan. 34 digs for the Polar Bears, 24 for Wesleyan. 4 total blocks aside, 7 errors when trying to receive for Wesleyan, 3 for Bowdoin. 1 ball handling error aside. Starting with the Cardinals. 5 kills for Tanaka, 3 for Kirk, Ahern, and Smith. Kuslak with 1 to round out those with a kill on the Cardinals. Tanaka's hitting at 333, Ahern at 300. 10 assists for Dennis to lead Wesleyan. 2 aces for Ortiz, 1 for Oteola. Dennis, Ahern, and Smith each with a block solo. Kirk with 5 digs. Dennis and Oteola round out the top 3 with 4 each. 5.5 total points with Tanaka to lead Wesleyan. Corey Gray, batting 1,000, 10 for 10 through 2 sets. 5 kills for Paul, behind Gray, Evans, and Hodge Adams with 4 each. Haugen and Lang with 3. 22 assists for Ella Haugen. 4 aces for Hodge Adams, 3 for Paul. Block solos for Gray, Hodge Adams, and Lang. Block assist for Paul and Len. 12 digs for White to lead the Polar Bears in that category. 11 points for Gray to lead the Polar Bears. Set 3. As the Polar Bears looking to make it a quick night here inside Morrill. A little extra rest would be beneficial because tomorrow at 2 we'll be right back at it. As Connecticut College, the travel buddies for Wesleyan, are in town. Let's go, you Bears, is the chant from the crowd. Cardinals will start on the serve. It'll be Matty Kirk. Brian Roach here with you. Elias Pedro, camera operator and producer. It's Bowdoin Volleyball on NSN. Dug out by Evans. And right there by Yule. Deflection. Out of play, point Cardinals, and the early advantage, 1-0. Taylor tried to get that started over, just on a little bit of a line. Out in front was Kuslak, along with Smith. Cardinals couldn't put it together there. Lang will get the kill. 1-1. White on the serve. Taylor will receive for the Cardinals. Blocked down and sent back by Hodge Adams. He's getting a big swing on it with Sidney Smith. Blocked right back. Blocked again. Third time's the charm for the Cardinals. No! It falls out of play. It'll be a 2-1 Bowdoin advantage. Hodge Adams, one of the Polar Bears, out in front. And a relentless attack by the Cardinals. Corey Gray gets a fingertip on that one. And over the outstretched arms of Grace Dennis. Corey Gray gets another 3-1. Maya White gets us started again. Run a 3, and that comes to an end. Finding the open space right at the attack line on the Cardinals. And it will be Oteola on the serve. And another off the hands of Corey Gray. Nice effort by Kiana Yule to try to stay with that one. Grace Dennis got the last kill for Wesleyan in the second point. 4-2 Bowdoin advantage here in the third set. Polar Bears lead the match 2-0. Dug on out by Maya White. Cardinals, though. Oh, with a soft touch, Sidney Smith finds the space. Advantage Cardinals in 3-4. As we'll take a breath. Deal with some moisture on the court. Grace Dennis gets us started for the Cardinals. Sachet by Oteola. We get a whistle. Advantage Cardinals. After the error on the Polar Bears. Grace Dennis back on the serve, 4s apiece. Oteola with the set. The spike. There's more of a slide. And it will be a point for the Cardinals. Bella Ahern from Jenna Oteola. And us fools up in the commentary area. Looked like she was going to load up for that one, but an effective slide for the kill. This one is driven home, and it's Bella Ahern, who once again, 6-4 the Cardinals with the advantage here in the third set. Looking to take a set as they trail 2-0. Grace Dennis, all the way to the opposite side, it falls. Sydney Smith helped to guide that home. Cardinals with their largest lead of the set. And if I'm remembering correctly, largest lead of the match, 7-4. Heck of a student turnout here tonight. (7-4), almost dunking that home. And Ella Haugen had to be careful herself that she wasn't rung up on a fault. But she'll push that over. Oh, what an effort by Oteola. And walked down. That's Sarah Evans. Polar Bears end the run. Advantage Bowdoin 5-7. They will serve. Evans off. Robbins in. It'll be an error against Ahern. And a block for the Polar Bears, Evans. On the run was Haugen to keep that alive, and that's teamwork. No further analysis needed. Sophia Paul from Ella Haugen, who earned that assist. Tanaka with a nice job to receive for Wesleyan. They'll push it over on the free ball. Oh, that one had some might on it. Off for Kirk, and that one flew towards the crowd. Polar Bears have evened it up at 7s. Oh, and showing a little force in Sydney Smith on the Wesleyan side. And finding the space is Sophia Paul, excuse me. The senior with the kill. Maya White gets to help her. Jenna Robbins. Pushed up on the set. That spike comes right back from where it came from. 9-7 Polar Bears. Error against Ahern. And that one falls again in the favor of the Polar Bears. Tanaka tried to push it over. The block's too strong out in front for Bowdoin. Corey Gray gets back to back. She's having one heck of a match so far. And that run of serves will come to an end. 8-10. Wesleyan and Kiana Yule, the Manhattan Beach, California native, and first year. That one floated on a knuckle over. Dug out by Oteola. On the drive, not enough arc. Point Polar Bears. Randy Kirk tried to make it happen there. And here's Corey Gray. And an error on the serve there for Gray and the Polar Bears. Advantage Wesleyan, 9-11. Gray, the middle blocker from Winter Park, Florida. On this serve is Tanaka. Dennis on the left side. Wesleyan. And on the slide, getting that one home. Bella Ahern with another kill. This one looking a lot like our first set. Back and forth we went until the Polar Bears pulled away at the end. If you're just joining us, Bowdoin took set 1 25-20, set 2 25-23. Excuse me, 25-13. Blocked down but out. Looked like that was Dennis and Kuslak out in front on a quick glance from our broadcast position. They nearly had the block. Paul gets the kill. 12-10 is the Bowdoin advantage. A successful dink. Kuslak with the kill. Dennis with the assist. As the Polar Bears nearly able to dig it out. 11 serving 12. Blocked down. Kuslak. Kuz is the chant from the Wesleyan bench. 12 apiece. Something about this gymnasium and the acoustics, as evident again here, is the visiting bench sounds as loud as the Polar Bear contingent. And that, no insult or no negativity meant there. It's just fun to be in this atmosphere. We'll take a timeout and do the Polar Bears 13-12 Wesleyan advantage. And on that last point, two credit to the Cardinals for bringing some energy in enemy territory. See if we can get any insight from the NESCAC scoreboard. As Williams and Trinity are just about set to begin in Hartford. Tufts in Connecticut College in action right now. Tufts usually does not have live scoring capability, so you can check out the video link if you're interested in that one. Amherst and Bates, no live update from that one, but you can check in on the action in Amherst on NSN. And Colby's at Middlebury, they'll get set to get going. Right at 8 o'clock. And that's your look at the NESCAC scoreboard. And that one falls right in front of Jada Hodge-Adams. Point for the Cardinals. Not enough mustard on that one for Bowdoin. 14-12, the Wesleyan advantage. And an error off the start for Bianca Ortiz after she started mental run together.
It's actually pretty impressive. I feel like
a runner
volleyball in college just
to be exact.
because it was fun. People are really good at volleyball. Pretty legit.
Sophia Paul on the serve. Left side, driven home. Maddie Kirk.
Yeah, I think Jillian's daughter is 15, so she's one closest to the screen.
15-13. And an error on the reception for Sophia Paul. 16-13 Wesleyan. Kirk back on the serve. On the slide, somehow Kirk kept that up. And it's a flex off of Maya White for a Wesleyan point. That was centimeters away from hitting the court. Maddie Kirk made sure that final centimeter counted. Out in front on the fake. Swung over by Smith, received by the Polar Bears. Trying to Plinko that one over was Lang. And an error. 4 over the line for Wesleyan. "14 serving 17. Maya White the first year. Blocked down, but what a reaction from Smith to keep it alive. She'll try to swing it back over. Hodge Adams. Punched home, Corey Gray. 15-17 advantage Polar Bears. The 3-time NESCAC champion Polar Bears, this program finding the ultimate success in league in 2011, 2015, and most recently 2018. Blocked right back. Wesleyan strong out in front, but the Polar Bears take advantage of some space out back. They only trail by 1 here in set 3. They lead the match 2-0. Sarah Evans from Ella Haugen. Timeout on the court. And Corey Gray. The run towards perfection in tonight's match has come to an end, but she's still hitting at a wild 923 clip. 12 of 13. And how about 29 assists for Ella Haugen? 16 digs for White. A couple of your leaders on the Polar Bears side. 7 kills for Smith to lead Wesleyan, Tanaka and Ahern with 6 each. 18 assists for Dennis, 11 digs for Oteola. And it's Maya White, 16-17. Polar Bears trail, but with the advantage now. Off the serve. And just like that, it goes right back to the Cardinals. They push the lead up to 2. Here in set number 3. Cardinals looking to make it a perfect 4 for 4 on the year, but it's going to take a bit of a comeback. Plenty of fight left, though. Dennis and Tanaka securing the front of the net. Oteola. Nice effort by Hodge Adams to keep it alive, but push back over. And Wesleyan with a 4-point lead right out of the timeout. Quick strikes, 2016. Error on Gray, Tanaka, and Dennis with the block. Serve by Oteola. Left side sent over on the free ball. Swing blocked. Smith, take 2. Oh, and she takes a little off it and gets the point. 21-16. And a timeout called by Coach Katie and the Polar Bears. So, runner 4 for the Cardinals out of that timeout. And I think they got that done in all of 50 seconds. Polar Bears hitting at 297. That's dipped here in this third set. Looking at the cumulative statistics, Wesleyan at 133. Ben Samara in his 7th year. Calling the plays for the Cardinals. As they listen in unison in a circle. And the Polar Bears burst back out onto the court. So it was Bowdoin's timeout. The run continues for Jenna Otala. And the run now up to 4. Make it 5. Oh, Sydney Smith loading it up. And a display of power. 22-16. Polar Bears able to make something out of that reception, which looked like it was going to fall. Off the fingertips. Haugen takes a look at her hands. And that one out of play. 23-16 advantage Wesleyan. Runs now up to 6. Otala having the most success so far on serve. Out of the service area for Wesleyan. But the Polar Bears put that run to an end. Sarah Evans with the kill. Haugen with another assist. The setter for the Polar Bears. Living up to her title tonight. Wesleyan's quickly got to get it back. Set point for the Cardinals. 24-17. Looking for their first set victory here tonight, and as it would be in league play in 2021. This being the first NESCAC matchup for both sides. Grace Dennis. And advantage Cardinals, 25-17. They'll take set number 3. 2-1, Bowdoin leads the match. So a must win, and that's exactly what Wesleyan did there. And we got ourselves a fight now, as the Polar Bears were looking to make quick work of the Cardinals. Take a look at your leader in kills. After 3. On the Wesleyan side, Tanaka, Smith, and Ahern, 10-7-6 respectively. On the Polar Bears side, Gray, Paul, and Evans, 12, 9, and 6. Haugen's up to 30 assists, but don't look now, Grace Dennis up to 21 on the Wesleyan side. White's got 16 digs to lead everyone on the Bowdoin side. Otala with 12 on the Wesleyan side. Polar Bears after 3 hitting 287. Wesleyan at 161. 7 aces for Bowdoin, 5 for Wesleyan. Polar Bears have racked up 11 errors on the serve already. 2 in total for Wesleyan. Total blocks, slight advantage for the Polar Bears, 8-7. They also have a slight advantage in digs, 48-45. So NESCAC opener for the Polar Bears. Home opener for the Polar Bears. It's been loud tonight here inside Morrill Gymnasium. With producer and camera operator Elias Page, I'm Brian Roach. This is Bowdoin Volleyball on the Northeast Sports Network. Excited to be along for the ride for the majority of the home volleyball slate this year. We'll say hello to Don Shields, who has held this position for the past few years. He'll be on football tomorrow. And if I have one goal this season, it's to match Don's level of excitement. Because he certainly calls a fun game of volleyball. But he again, we thank you for spending your Friday evening with us as we got two of the leading programs in the NESCAC, the 2017 champs in Wesleyan on the right, in their blacks, with Jenna Otela, the libero, in the white uniform, Polar Bears in the home whites on the left, Maya White, the libero, in the black. Again, due to protocols, we are not switching sides, so at least makes things easier to keep track of. Set 4 underway. Polar Bears lead the match 2-1. It's Haugen on the serve. Heck of an effort by Robbins. But blocked back down. Tanaka and Dennis have been a force out in front this evening. A collective force, I should say. Error will go against Paul on the Bowdoin side. Grace Dennis now will take the turn to serve. And a little deception on the setup from the Polar Bears. It's Hodge Adams. Set up on the left side there. She gets it to go. Guess who? It's Haugen on the assist. One, Paul for the Polar Bears. Pinballed by the Polar Bears. The Wesleyan will finish the job. Maddie Kirk. I believe that was Hodge Adams and Haugen with the aforementioned pinball effect there. As the Polar Bears kept it alive and got it back over to the Cardinals side on the third hit. But Wesleyan gets the kill. Sidney Smith with another. Dennis the helper. On the serve, it's Yule. And they get a whistle. That's going to go against Wesleyan. Bowdoin up. Or excuse me, Bowdoin's evened it 2-2. And points going to come off the board. Discussion at the scorer's table. Coach Samara over talking with one of our referees. As we try to sort out what's going on. If you're just tuning in late, Bowdoin jumped down to a 2-0 advantage. Taking set 1, 25-20, set 2, 25-13. Wesleyan, though, with the strike back, 25-17, the victory in set 3. Now, again, can't quite tell what they're saying, but it looks like they're looking at the roster sheet. And it's a rotation error, it looks like. We'll give our producer Elias 10 points for spotting that. And at least one fan is getting restless. Personally, I have very much missed having fans in the grandstands here on campus. Cardinals, though, are pleading their case here. So, unofficially, the dispute has to do with a rotation error. And it might be a second because the music's back on, folks. And while the action may have slowed down on the court, on the Bowdoin bench, they'll keep loose. A little bit of choreography in play as well. Aaron Katie will use this as an opportunity for a timeout, an unofficial timeout. Aaron Katie joined the staff as head coach in February of 2015. And in her first season, it was one to remember. Statistically, the greatest season in Bowdoin history. The NESCAC title in their first ever NCAA quarterfinal appearance. So, point Polar Bears. The music's off. And we're about ready to get going. So 2-2. Here in set number 4. Bowdoin leads the match 2-1. And and it looks like our official is reaching for the roster sheet once again. And we're back in a bit of a holding pattern. We will say credit to everyone involved for taking the time to get it right. And the bench for the Polar Bears trying to get the Bowdoin chant going. The students, however, not pleased with the delay. But again, credit to everyone involved for taking the time to get this right. And the music's back on. And for broadcasters, at the beginning of any season, for any team, especially coming off a 2-year break, and while the fantastic sports information departments at all the NESCAC schools are still gathering information, we're a little down on some of the normal fun facts that we would bring you here, which is why you're getting what I would call enhanced play-by-play of the moment. 2-2, we hold between Bowdoin and Wesleyan in our 4th set. Good time to look at our statistical leaders once again. And it's still Corey Gray on the Bowdoin side and Sidney Smith on the Wesleyan side leading the way. Smith has gotten a couple of her kills by way of the slide. And again, this is some uninformed speculation, but it looks like a couple of the polar bears are trying to get a dance-off going. And our delay, again, we'll thank our producer, Elias. He's got the clock running. 10 minutes. And again, if you missed it, if you're wondering why, unofficially, from the information we've been able to gather, what is being disputed is a rotation error on the Wesleyan side. Mid-play was blown dead. The point was initially awarded to the polar bears 10 minutes ago. It was taken off the board. It was put back on the board about 4 minutes ago. So the last time we went to Coach Katie's bio, it looked like we were coming out of it. So let's see if we can keep the same fortune going. But again, her first season, best program season in Bowdoin history. 2 NESCAC titles, 2 of the 3 in program history belong to her under her stewardship. Came to Bowdoin from Holy Cross. And has picked up some honors both in the league and nationally and regionally as well. And I knew we just had to go back to Coach Katie's bio. Looks like it's settled finally. The score is 2-2. Maya White will wait for the whistle. And again, we're saying one more time, while we're having a little fun with the delay, in all seriousness, we do applaud everyone involved for taking the time to make sure we get things right. It's just in the 8 years I've been calling action in the NESCAC, I've never experienced a delay this long. Maya White gets the whistle. And we're back underway. Listen to that eruption. 3-2 polar bears in set number 4. And it's an ace for White. She's back at it again. Answering with a ferocious punch by Benner Kuslak for the kill. We're tied at 3s. So Sydney Smith. I got a fingertip off the blocker in front. Polar bears, though, can't get it to fall. Now it's reset. And it drops. Shayna Hodge-Adams on the right side. And she'll get the serve here. Skims the net. Cardinals send it back over on the free ball. And that's going to drop home as the Cardinals couldn't quite guide the bump over to the set. Hodge-Adams again. All out for White. Sachet, but out of play. Too much mustard on that one. Bella Ahern's got another kill. Advantage Wesleyan, 4-5. They serve. And it's Bianca Ortiz. Send that over on the free ball, but it rolls right off the arms of Evans on the line. Wesleyan capitalizes and gets the kill, 5-5. Kuslak from Dennis. And that one guided out of play. Polar Bears will take that 6-5. It will be a kill for Haugen. Jenna Robbins. Oh! Maddie Kirk on the line. It looks like she'll get the kill. And back in the service, Otala. Just a little confirmation going over at the scorer's table. Pushed on over by Haugen. Set. Oh, back to back for Kirk. With authority, loading up. Dennis got the helper on both. Received off the serve by Hodge Adams. And the Polar Bears will get the kill. Tip of the cap to Otala. As she laid out and slid on the parquet. Corey Gray on the serve, 7s apiece. And this one out. Advantage Polar Bears as Tanaka was trying to get a piece of one of the Bowdoin players. Trying to force it out. It will be an error on Tanaka. Gray did get the last kill for the Polar Bears. And she serves. Received by Robbins. Oh! Placement precision. Shada Hodge Adams. Not only in volleyball, but in all of the NESCAC competition that I see, we always mention just the level of competition in this league. Ace for Gray. And folks, we are seeing some top tier Division III volleyball here this evening. Gray. Error on the serve. Wesleyan will get it back. 8-10 will be their advantage in the serve. Polar Bears still with the lead in the set and in the match, 2-1. Kirk on the serve. Kirk gets the ace. Nine now serving 10. Kirk. High into the air. Pop fly. Paul guides it back into play. And the kill for Sydney Smith. Too much force on that one, as it looked like Robbins tried to bump that in play. But again, just too much. Answering is Sophia Paul. From the left side. The outside hitter for the Polar Bears and senior. Haugen with another helper. Haugen on the serve. 11-10 Polar Bears. Oh, Sophia Paul finding some space. 12-10. Haugen again on the serve. Nice job to keep that alive by Kirk. Trying to push it over off the slide with Smith. Resetting the Polar Bears. And off the hand of Ortiz and out. It's Paul once again from Haugen. 13 serving 10. Timeout on the court. And we'll catch our breaths here. We're having fun inside Morrill Gymnasium. Just a spectacular league opener so far between Wesleyan and Bowdoin. It is Wesleyan's timeout on the court. Middlebury with a 1-0 advantage over Colby right now in Middlebury. They took the first set 25-18. They lead in the second 2-1. Williams and Trinity. Williams on the road, but with the advantage after one. They took the first set 25-10 over the Bantams. They lead in the second set 10-7. Bates and Amherst, as well as Connecticut College and Tufts underway. Amherst and Tufts, the home teams, respectively. Polar Bears took set 1, 25-20, set 2, 25-13. Wesleyan took set 3, 25-17. Corey Gray leads everyone in the match with 14 kills. Sidney Smith leads the Cardinals with 12. Serve here for Emma Haugen, who leads everyone in assists. Trying to tip that over. And that was Ortiz keeping it alive. No stopping Jada Hodge-Adams there. Oteola leads Wesleyan and Diggs with 13. Maya White leads the Polar Bears in the match with 18. On the serve again, it's Haugen. 14-10 Bowdoin. And point Cardinals. The run will come to an end. As that came off, Haugen's pushed on a bit of a line. Some force there from the Cardinals side. Sidney Smith gets the kill. 11 serving 14. Over the back line, floating and trying to drive that home for the kill was Paul, but off target. Run of 4 for Haugen before the Cardinals were able to put it to an end. Now they're on a run of 2. Not for long, though. Jada Hodge-Adams picking her spot again. 15-12. Sophia Paul gets us started. Kill for Smith. Back and forth we go in set 4. Advantage Cardinals, 13, serving 15. Smith from Dennis. Rika Tanaka, the sophomore. And an error on the serve. If you missed it earlier, coming into play today, Tanaka has been a force in the first 3 matches for the Cardinals. 27 kills, hitting at 339, 5 block assists, 6 digs. Credit to the NESCAC league office for that statistic. Maya White, 16 serving 13. Blocked and down. Hodge-Adams and Gray out in front. Block assists to reach. Error on Kulslok. 17 serving 13. Cardinals push it over. Paul kept it alive. And Kirk does so for the Cardinals. Double hit though. Point Polar Bears. Timeout on the court. Officially ruled a bad set with Kuslak name attached to it. Points in total, 68-53 in favor of the Polar Bears. 50-39 the advantage in kills. 13 errors on the attack. Wesleyan's got 17. Bowdoin hitting at a 316 clip. Wesleyan at 191. 9 aces for the Polar Bears. 6 for the Cardinals. Looking at just some of your team stats here. Ella Haugen leads everyone with 41 assists. Grace Dennis leads the Cardinals with 30. Out of the timeout, it's Maya White back at it again. 18 serving 13. In front, finding a seam. Britta Kuslak. And it will be Cindy Smith on the serve. Hits the antenna. Advantage Polar Bears. A beautiful set on the Polar Bears side. Received by the Cardinals, but they get a piece of the antenna. Off a fingertip and out. There was Ortiz on the serve. Punched over by Gray. Cardinals will keep it going. Blocked, and it falls in favor. Kirk with the strike. And that will fall. No, it does not. And eventually it hits the ground. But Jenna Otala, she deals in centimeters. Second time we've seen her keep one up. But it looked like it was just about to hit the court. Advantage Polar Bears, though. And Otala lays out again. Hodge Adams does the same for the Polar Bears. Off the slide with a little bit of power. Deflects right back after Kuslak tried to end the point. And eventually it does come to an end. Block falls in favor of Wesleyan. 17-20. They have the advantage in the serve. Polar Bears lead 2017. Kirk gets the kill. Dennis the assist. Driven home out in front. Corey Gray once again. She's a perfect 12 of 12 to open up the match into the second set. And she's back to serve. Kept alive first by Paul. Error on the Polar Bears. 18-21. Error as Kirk couldn't quite get it over the net. 22-18. Driven home. Cindy Smith with another display of power. 19 serving 22. Polar Bears with the 22-19 lead and the 2-1 lead overall. And I, again, don't want to completely speculate, but I think we might have had an early whistle. So we'll reset at 22-19. Blocked back. Wesleyan's got to reset. That was Paul and Lang out in front. And the Cardinals answering with some strength out in front. Tanaka and Ahern. Looks like it's going to be a block solo for Tanaka. Paul will get the error. 27-22. Loading up. Keeping it alive with Kirk. Point Polar Bears. That sets the call. Two away, the crowd can taste it. Wesleyan leads the all-time series 23-11. And an ace. Grace, excuse me. Sophia Paul. Cardinals had the best of the Polar Bears 2-1 last year, but the Polar Bears got it when it counted in the tournament. Keeping it alive is White. And an error. As Hodge Adams tried her darndest to guide that back into play. Apologies, that is not an error in Hodge Adams. That is a kill for Tanaka. 21-24. Drops home. Cardinals keeping it entertaining. 22-24. Ortiz on the serve. High in the air. Plucked back. Oh no! Polar Bears win! 3-1. They take the fourth set 25-22. And that's the match. And a league victory to open up the year against a program that historically has had Bowdoin's number. And it will be 2 in a row going back to 2019 for Bowdoin over Wesleyan. A little bit of everything in this one. I think it was pretty evident we had some fun. Polar Bears faithful had some fun. And I think the players on both sides enjoyed this one. Of course, the Cardinals would have loved to have come home with a victory, but Bowdoin improves to 3-2 on the year, 1-0 in the NESCAC. As Wesleyan will take their first defeat of the season, 3-1 on the year, now 0-1 in the league. So before we sign off, take a look at some of the stats. A thrilling first set, back and forth we went till the very end, and the Polar Bears were able to pull away 25-20. They had the advantage. Then in set two, Bowdoin with a 25-12 advantage. Wesleyan keeps fighting back, 25-17 in the third set. And another nail-biter here in the fourth, 25-22. To give the Polar Bears the 3-1 victory. On the Wesleyan side, Sydney Smith, Mariko Tanaka, Bella Ahern, 15, 9, and 8 kills. Corey Gray led everyone in the match for the Polar Bears with 16. Paul and Hodge Adams with 12 and 9, respectively. Grace Dennis hit 500 for Wesleyan. Ahern hit 263. Smith hit 262. Gray hit 667. What a match for Corey Gray. Ella Haugen, 333. Lauren Lang, 333. Aces, Ortiz, Kirk, and Oteola, 3-2-1 respectively, to lead Wesleyan. Hodge Adams and Paul led the match with 4 on the Bowdoin side. Gray had 1 of her own. "18 digs for Maya White to lead everyone in the match. On the Polar Bear side, Sophia Paul with 12, Ella Haugen with 10. Jenna Oteola had 14, Maddie Kirk with 12, Kiana Ewell with 7 on the Wesleyan side. Ella Haugen led everyone in the match with 45 assists, 5 for White, 2 for Evans on the Bowdoin side. Grace Dennis led Wesleyan, 35. Jenna Oteola had 6. Open Surrey for Wesleyan had 2. A 21.5 point night for Corey Gray to lead Bowdoin. Sydney Smith had 16 to lead Wesleyan. Polar Bears amassed 73 points on 54 kills, 14 errors, 126 total attacks, and they hit at a 317 clip, 54 assists, 10 aces, 12 errors, 7 block solos, 4 block assists, 63 digs, 9 total blocks. They did have 6 reception errors, 1 ball handling error. The Cardinals racked up 61 points on 45 kills, 17 attack errors, 125 total attacks. They hit 224, which improved steadily throughout the match. 44 assists, 6 aces, 4 errors on the serve, 7 solos, 6 block assists, 2 block errors, 58 digs, 10 total blocks to take the advantage in that category. They did have 10 errors off the reception, and they too had 1 ball handling error. So for the 12th time, in the all-time series, the Polar Bears beat the Cardinals. And they're back at it tomorrow, 2 o'clock at Tufts. And you can head on over to the Tufts website, as they will have any information on how to access that stream, if one is being made available. We cannot say for sure based off the information that we have. But what we can tell you is we'll be back here tomorrow as the Polar Bears will welcome Connecticut College and try to make it a perfect 2-0 to open up the league slate. Again, we'll start our coverage right around 1:50 p.m. tomorrow. We're hoping for another fun one here inside Morrill Gymnasium. And again, we want to thank you for tuning in, spending your Friday night with us. Looks like Sarah Evans is waving towards the camera. So if you are on the phone with Sarah Evans, our delay is about 50 seconds to a minute. So you should see the wave back soon enough. But that's going to do it again for our coverage. Our producer and camera operator was Elias Page. I want to thank our NSN team up in Vermont as well in Master Control. My name is Brian Roach. Final scores for the final time. Bowdoin took set 1, 25-20. They took set 2, 25-13. And they dropped set 3, 25-17. Took set 4 to win the match, 25-22. They win it by an overall score of 3-1. This has been a presentation of the Northeast Sports Network. Talk to everyone tomorrow afternoon at 1:50.